This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Well, good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Friday, May 26, 2023. We're just heading into Memorial Day weekend, and we're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I talk with Iowa Ag Water Alliance Executive Director Sean McMahon about their defining decade of the Iowa nutrient reduction strategy. They just had their kind of wrap-up event in Slater at the farm just to wrap up information on that previous decade and talk about what they have going on in the next 10 years. We'll also have a check of that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, we're talking with Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net for a bit of analysis today. Kaden, of course, heading into that Memorial Day weekend. How have the markets looked today?
Yeah, we continue the trend that we've seen all week, which is nice for a surprise. We continued higher today. Kind of seemed like going into the holiday weekend, like you said, anybody who's short wanted to get out. We just continue to see buying both on the corn and bean side, corn a little bit more than beans. But it's been a good week, man. Overall, July corn up almost 50 cents. We'll see how we're settled here. D's corn up 30, maybe even 35 cents on the week. So beans, July beans up 30 on the week. Nova beans up 13, 15. But yeah, definitely a great week, especially for the corn market.
And we know those export sales have just, been not so good as usual. But honestly, at this point, we're shifting now to looking at those new crop contracts and the weather market, right?
Yeah, it's, in my opinion, maybe a little bit early to be trading weather, but we definitely are, especially when you look at the 2-week forecast, pretty dry across the I-states. Definitely has the market's attention right now, and it's going to be an interesting open, Monday night just to see, what the forecast developed like over the weekend. If it stays dry, I think you can see more fireworks to the upside. On the other hand, if we get some rain put back in here, we may wish we'd done a little more selling here at the end of this week.
Well, and I talked to Matt this morning, and honestly, it sounds like the markets are just looking for something more positive to look for, and that might be why they're looking at the weather market.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We corn market especially just got hammered for close to 3 weeks. Kind of got to the point where technically it was just so oversold it needed something, and you've really kind of seen a nice mixture of funds exiting short positions as well as getting a little bit of weather premium added back into this thing.
Right, and we've seen, big swings to some of the contracts. The front month corn had a big swing throughout the week. When we see these rallies in the prices right now, I've been talking with several analysts, is it kind of a time period where you want to just take it as it comes and not count on it to really stay at that level for too long?
I think that's the exact right mindset. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of incremental sales and target orders. Get you a few sales, get you a few orders out there every 10 cents or whatever. But yeah, when you get a rally like this after the month of May that we had up to this point, you've got to take advantage of it. I actually just did a little research, put on Twitter. Each of the past 2 years, we kind of had a 2-week rally at the beginning of June on D's corn. So in 21 and in 22. And in both of those years, once that rally was over, the high was in for the rest of the contract. So when you're looking at new crop, this is definitely, the time of year to be doing some forward selling. It usually looks pretty good towards harvest.
All right, and then on the other side of the marketplace in the livestock complex, what have we seen there going on today?
Yeah, June live cattle pretty quiet today, which we're getting close to the end of the June contract, but up about 20 cents or so. We're actually closing quiet. I shouldn't say that it's been trading quiet because we made new highs today, but closing around 167.5. August feeders down a little bit, 50 cents or so, kind of consolidating after their big move. But really, I feel like they're holding pretty well after the run that corn market's had. And hogs, my goodness, down $7 on the week, maybe a little bit more, down almost $2 today. Just continue to get crushed, especially coming off the heels of Prop 12. So long hogs, not the trade yet. Remains to be seen when it will be, but not for a while.
Well, and we thought with, the hogs just getting beat down and down that maybe at some point there'd be extra demand in there that that consumers would look at, hey, this meat is much cheaper than the beef right now, but we still haven't seen that yet, right?
No, we haven't really seen it. It's to me, it's at this point, it's kind of a fun game. Coming from the managed money, you kind of see the same thing on wheat. Not that wheat's had really a huge reason to rally, but it's just gotten crushed to the point that it's really hard to get a catalyst going for it. I think hogs are in the same boat. So if and when the funds, decide they're ready to buy hogs again, I think that's when we'll kind of see this thing turn around. But I think also Prop 12 kind of gave them another reason, another leg lower, if you will, to keep hammering this thing.
All right, and then lots of great information today for those of our listeners and viewers who would like to get in touch with the folks at agmarket.net. How can they do that, Kaden?
Yeah, man, go to our website, agmarket.net. You can reach any of our brokers from there. You can access all of our research and intel for free for a month, and we can also get you kind of started on the beginnings of a marketing plan. So, good place to start. You can get everything you need from there.
Thanks for taking the time to visit with us today, Kaden, and enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, you too, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
That again was Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers closed. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. At the close, July corn is up 13 1/4 at 604 even. December new crop up 18 1/2 at 534 1/2. July soybeans up 13 1/4 at 1337 1/4. November new crop up 17 1/4 at 1189 1/2. July soybean meal up 5 even at 402.20. Soybean oil up 30 cents at 48.82. Chicago wheat up 11 3/4 at 616 even. Minneapolis spring wheat up 12 1/2 at 818 even. Kansas City hard red wheat up 1 1/4, 819 1/4. July oats up 7 1/2 at 343 1/2. On the Merc, June live cattle up a nickel at 167.35. August feeders down 77 at 233.92. June lean hogs down 157 at 76.07. Pork cutout down 190 at 79.37. Class 3 milk down 23 at 15.88. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I talk with Iowa Ag Water Alliance Executive Director Sean McMahon. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Well, this past week, I had the chance to head out to the Lee Tisdale farm outside of Slater, where they were hosting an Iowa Ag Water Alliance event. Now, they've been hosting the events throughout the month to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the Iowa Nutrient Reduction Strategy. I talked with Sean McMahon about the past 10 years, which they're calling the defining decade, as well as things that they're going to look forward to and work on for the next 10 years. Well, we are talking here with Sean McMahon. He's the Executive Director of the Iowa Ag Water Alliance, and right now we're at a farm outside of Slater, just to kind of wrap up a whole month of Iowa Ag Water Alliance events. Sean, just tell us a little bit about how that attendance has gone, how those events have gone, because if today's any indication, there's been great attendance from producers.
Absolutely, Riley. Yeah, this is the fifth of 5 wonderfully successful events. We've had them in different corners of the state. Kicked it off on Earth Week, April 19th. You covered that event, where we're dedicating a wetland at DMAC. And after that, we went up to Northeast Iowa. We were on Tim Recker's farm, and he's put in a massive wetland there. And then we've been, since then, in Clay County, also Dickinson County, Lynn County, and Cedar Rapids. Now, here we are in Polk County, wrapping it up. So the nutrient reduction strategy turns 10 on Monday, and we've been recognizing the tremendous progress we've made in the first decade of implementing the Iowa Nutrient Reduction Strategy.
Right, we just saw a report recently, or at least one just showed up in my email the other day, on the numbers from the past decade of the Iowa Nutrient Reduction Strategy. And it's crazy to think of 10 years ago how much less there was around the state. When it comes to cover crops, no-till, even stuff like that, saturated buffers. And looking now, 10 years later, I mean, what a difference, right?
Absolutely, and Iowa State put out a press release just this morning about that, and I haven't studied all of the figures, but we've known for years that we've been radically increasing practices like cover crops. we had fewer than 50,000 acres of cover crops prior to the Iowa nutrient reduction strategy. Now we have 3 million acres. We have other practices that didn't exist before the nutrient reduction strategy, like saturated buffers. They were invented right here in Iowa. So were bioreactors. They're really effective at reducing nitrogen loading from subsurface ag drainage or tiling. And we've been scaling those up. In fact, Polk County used to do about 1 saturated buffer or bioreactor per year. They've done 100 in the last year and a half. So it's really substantial just how much these practices are increasing. No-till and strip-till are going up quite a lot. Iowa leads the nation in combined no-till and conservation tillage, as well as wetlands and terraces and grass waterways and buffers. So yeah, there's still a whole lot of work more to be done with implementing the nutrient reduction strategy, but we're definitely proud to recognize the progress of the first decade.
Right, and it's like you mentioned last month, it's like we've had amazing progress so far, but we need 10 times more to achieve the lofty goals that were set by the Iowa nutrient reduction strategy. So looking forward into the future on that, it's looking pretty promising, right?
It is, yeah, and the last couple of years have been very encouraging, as we're seeing increases in the several hundreds of % for some of these edge of field practices. Wetlands would be another great example. IDLs used to do just 2 or 3 of those a year. Now they've got 70 in the works and various stages of progress. So I would say that we've definitely crossed an inflection point, and we're starting to see the beginning of that hockey stick of an increase of adoption.
Right, and of course we know another big target with the next 10 years of the nutrient reduction strategy has been nitrogen in particular, just making sure that farmers don't have to input as much nitrogen and activating that nitrogen from the soil already and making sure that's used. So just tell us a little bit on how that front is going.
Sure, so farmers in Iowa and throughout the Corn Belt have made really great progress since 1980 at improving fertilizer use efficiency. That's actually improved by about 104%. So farmers are increasingly using the right form of fertilizer, applying it at the right place, at the right time, and the right rate. And I think we've seen as input costs have gone up in the last couple of years, farmers are paying even more attention to that. So we've got a lot of really great programming around that. Iowa State has the Iowa Nitrogen Initiative. That's going to really upgrade the accuracy of the nitrogen recommendations that Iowa farmers are receiving. And we'll be able to reduce the amount of nitrate leaching and nitrous oxide emissions as a result of that. Where we have freshwater lakes in Iowa, phosphorus is more of the concern. We've made a lot of progress on that. But while we've almost reached the goal of 29% reduction of phosphorus from non-point statewide, some of our lakes have higher goals from that. So we're still keeping the pedal to the metal with phosphorus reduction as well as nitrogen.
All right, and is there anything else about the what the IAWA is doing right now, or just the NRS in general, that our listeners and viewers should know about today?
Yeah, well, on this farm, Lee Tesdell has implemented saturated buffers, a bioreactor, prairie strips, extended rotation, no-till, and cover crops. And he's been doing that in close partnership with the Helen family. Mike and Nick, they're his farmer tenants, and they have a fantastic relationship. They work together, figure out what new practices to try, and then implement it. And I'd like all the farmers listening to us now, Riley, to think about what's the one additional practice they could try this year that would improve their water quality. So I hope all the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network listeners consider what they might try on their operation.
All right, well, I can tell that they're getting ready for you to speak here today, Sean, so I'll let you go. For those of our listeners who would like to get in touch with the Iowa Ag Water Alliance and learn more, how can they do that?
Yeah, the website would be the easiest place to start, and that's www.iagwater.org.
All right, thanks for taking the time to visit with us, and good luck with the next decade of the nutrient reduction strategy.
Always a pleasure, Riley. Thanks so much.
There we go. That again was Sean McMahon, the Executive Director of the Iowa Ag Water Alliance. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. You really can't ask for much better weather this weekend. We have temps hovering in the low 80s, mid 80s as well. Sunny skies, clear conditions. Really not much better time to get out and enjoy the freedoms that have been given to us by those who made the ultimate sacrifice. So let's see what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, there's really not much to say when it comes to the weather, but that's a great thing for this Memorial Day weekend. Today it'll be sunny and warm with highs ranging from the mid-70s to low 80s. Tonight, clear skies and lows overnight ranging from the mid-40s to about 50. Tomorrow, sunny skies and beautiful weather for that Memorial Day weekend, and the temperature range is as narrow as you can get, ranging from about 79 to 80. And taking a look at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, a beautiful day ahead of us. Cherokee looking to be sunny and 80. Shenandoah sunny and 80 as well. Des Moines once again sunny and 80. Waterloo sunny and 79. Albia sunny and 79. And Clinton, big surprise, sunny, clear skies and a high around 79. For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, make sure to check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. That's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And you can find all of our video content as well as previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free Twice Daily Market podcast on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.